Welcome to another episode of The Pipeline, the podcast where we like to showcase and display what top producer real estate business, brokers, and developers are doing in their market to dominate their area and become top producers and authority in the market. Today, I'm very excited to have our next guest. His name is Bill Barrett, owner and top broker of Luxury Home Consultants. He is a buyer-focused agency and dedicated to provide value and information to maybe new buyers in the market, especially in the Florida luxury market. I'm very excited to have him today. Welcome, Bill. Tell us a little bit more about you and what took you into the real estate world.
Well, thanks, Carlos, for having me on the pipeline. It's great to be here. I'll tell you, my start in real estate, I was very, very young. I was working for a company as an intern on the commercial end in Rhode Island while I was going to college, and I was basically a glorified number cruncher and was bored to tears with it. And one day the broker said to me, "You need to go out with our top salesperson on the residential side because I think that might be more for you." And we went down and it was a young couple, and I was with Martha. And she was distinct and memorable, no doubt. And we got down to this house. I'll never forget. It was an older home. It was a very expensive older home on the water down in Newport, Rhode Island. And this young couple was getting married, and they had stars in their eyes. And I got to this house, and I let them in, and then Martha did her thing. And I'll never forget, the young lady walked to the top of some stairs, and she opened up a door, and Martha says, "Wait, look, I can see this. You're holding a flute of champagne. Your hair is blowing back." And I thought to myself, this is residential real estate. I can do this. Actually, that's not what I said at all. I said, this is crazy. She is pressuring the heck out of these people, and this house is nothing but a bunch of termites holding hands. Somebody has got to say something or do something. But these kids, they were frightened to death because Martha was very aggressive. You got to get back to the office. We got to sign the contract. And I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way to do this in real estate. And when I graduated and I came down here to Florida, I was very young, and I figured out quickly in real estate that, when you're 21, 22 years old, nobody wants to give you a listing. You're just too young. So the good news is I didn't have much hair, so I perhaps looked a little older than I did. And I decided that I was going to be a business that only represented buyers and buyers' best interest. And it was something that took off for me 30 years ago, and the business has built, and the book of business has been great. My return clients are the heart and soul of my business.
That's an amazing story, Bill. Thank you so much for sharing that. And within 30 years of experience, there's so much that I want to ask you. Right, the market have seen so many changes, and you lived through it, and you succeeded in creating a real estate business through this luxury market. Now, some of the agents that are watching today are about to start their careers. I want for them to know what Bill Barrett, what were some of the best practices that you apply when starting to get more business, to put yourself out there, and to grow yourselves, as an agent at the beginning.
Well, I think a couple of things. One, look at what everyone else is doing, and then try to do something a little different. And two, this business it's a great business to be in. I love it. It's almost become my hobby. I can't imagine life without doing what I do. But when I hear people say that they can't make an appointment, or they can't get back to somebody, go do something else. This is not the business for you. This business is a commitment. I think a lot of people are lured into the business for two reasons. One, there is a tremendous financial upside, and two, there's not a lot of barriers to entry with regards to education and whatnot. So it's great for someone with an entrepreneurial spirit, but if you don't like to work, this business isn't for you. There's no such thing as returning the phone call 2 days later. There's no such thing as I'll do it tomorrow. People need, want, and deserve your best attention and your best work at all times. So that would be the advice that I would give. If you can't give 110% and you don't love it, there's other things to do.
That's an awesome advice, Bill. And, on our end, we are huge believers on technology and, being today using this platform, which is YouTube and social media, to put this content out there. I wanted to ask you, as a business owner, when was that moment where you decided to maybe take a look at digital and try to display your brand on the digital ecosystem? How did that work out for home luxury consultants?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think it was about 1994. Some guy came into my office and said, "I have to tell you about this awesome thing. It's called the World Wide Web, and you're not going to do any more print advertising. In fact, 10 years from now, you won't do any." And he left, and we made all sorts of web jokes, Spider-Man, whatnot. And if he's watching right now, you were right. So, the internet has changed everything. And so the way my business evolved was with this core group of clients that kept referring business, and then they would be return clients. But it got to the point where I had to do more to grow the company and, keep production at a level that was, something that, kept my interest in the business. So, and that's when I contacted Trem. I really was looking for somebody that was going to be able to work with me on more of a personal level, because I had talked to other companies and worked with other companies, and I would have a problem with the website and they would say, "Oh, great, we're going to give you a ticket." I'm going, "A ticket? What am I going to do with a ticket?" The thing that I love about Trem is when I have a problem, I can text, I can pick up the phone, I get my people, and the problem gets solved. No excuses, no garbage. And that's what my clients want from me. They don't want to hear my problems. They want to hear what the solution is.
Well, we appreciate that, Bill. And before we dive in deeper, and I do have a few other questions for you, but would you mind checking a little bit your headphone? I believe there's some connection. Talk for me for a minute. I'll edit this out. Don't worry.
Okay, no problem. By the way, the name of the company is Luxury Home Consultants.
I'll edit that too, and we'll talk about luxury home consultants from here on. I'm so sorry. I'll edit that as well.
No problem.
Now I'm gonna edit from here on. Bill, as a technology company, what we usually also go about is creating the infrastructure for your business to display itself on the internet, right? It's an extension of your day-to-day business, and you have a lot of experience creating different websites and through many different providers. And you just mentioned about how important is the service side of it. But when it comes to the technology, how good has it been for luxury home consultants to apply some of these technology automations to help with the communication of your clients? Has that impacted at all your day-to-day?
Yes, in fact, if we're talking about like IDX Boost, it's amazing, the control, the insight it gives you. It's just something that I think it almost gives you an unfair advantage. It's something that's worked great for me, and as I continue with the products, it's doing nothing but creating more and more viable clients for me. It's helping me, as I learn to weed through the leads that aren't so strong and get to the ones that need the immediate attention.
Definitely. The tech helps narrow it down potential buyers, and using the technology in the real estate business is something extremely important for us today. But now that I have you on the show, now that I have you on the pipeline, let me ask you something, Bill. For those agents that are joining real estate today, right? We talked about best practices and dedicated yourself to the business. But if you're a real estate agent that is joining the South Florida market today in 2022, what would be your first recommendation for them? What would you tell them to go do today that you wouldn't have maybe told them a few years ago? How do you see the market for a new agent from your perspective?
Well, I'll tell you, the answer to that is I see what they need to do. Is the thing as a guy like myself that's a little bit older, has a little bit more difficulty, and that is get the proper presence online and do it from the start. It will strengthen your brand. It will help you develop business, and I think that at this point, that's all there is for you starting out. And of course, there's going to be good training, and I think that there's a lot of companies out there where you can get that. But as far as moving yourself forward, once you know what you're doing, the big challenge is going to be clients. And I think in the cycle of real estate that we're in right now, that's going to be the most important one.
Well, now that we talked about the agents and best practices, I know that you're a big yacht aficionado and you do a lot of business on the waterfront luxury market on South Florida. And now that we're talking about the real estate, how do you see the market performing on your area? How do you see the transactions going? What insight can you give us on your current real estate market?
I think right now we're in a transitional time. We've gone from a time that I never thought I would see, which is actually what I think I said in 2008, 2009, to an extreme on the other end. I mean, in the last 12 months, I've seen, properties that are multi-million-dollar properties with multiple cash offers over asking, and never in a million years did I think I would see that. But, the pendulum always swings both ways. And right now, it's starting to swing. Now, the thing that always underpins the success of our market here, or the demand in our market, I should say, is population growth. And that's what we have right now. We have positive population growth. Everyone wants to come here. It's beautiful. It's sunny. We've got low taxes. It's just, it's filled with culture. It's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to get outside and enjoy everything that South Florida's got to offer. But I think that will definitely slow. What I see for the future is a little bit more inventory. I see a lot of buyers being taken out of the market by higher interest rates, and a lot more cash transactions. That seems to be the theme for 2021 and going into 2022. Cash is king.
That's very insightful, and thank you so much for that, Bill. And I want to thank you so much for being here. But before we end today's podcast, I wanted to ask you, for those who are just getting to know you, how can they find you? How can they reach out? If there is anybody that needs assistance or consultants on your market, what are the best ways to reach out to your team?
Without a question, feel free to pick up the phone the old-fashioned way and call me directly, or through the website, www.luxuryhomeconsultants.com.
That's great. And we'll include that in the description just for anybody that may want to reach out and connect with you on a personal level. They will do so. On our side, Bill, thank you so much for taking the time today and meeting with me and sharing all of this knowledge with our viewers, because after all, what we want them is to know how top producers in very competitive markets are doing to succeed and what your experience has been. So again, Bill, thank you so much for joining. I can't wait. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Carlos. I really appreciate it. And my best to the team. Take care.